Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I do have cinnamon in my coffee. The other day I had someone ask me, well, how does the cinnamon stay in it? Because mine just sits on the top. Yes, it will just sit on the top, but you have to stir it in. And I also had someone ask me, it's amazing what happens when you just mention one little thing like cinnamon in your coffee. It kind of takes off as a whole new thing. But I also had someone mention that it's supposed to drive your cholesterol down. Well, I have not looked into that. Next time I go to the doctor, I may have to check that out. But I don't know the answer to that. Maybe I'll look that up, see if I can find an article on that. But today I wanted to go through, now I'm waking up every morning and I've been sent at least 4 to 10 messages from people who have sent me articles worthy of going over, and I really appreciate that. I hope nobody ever gets mad at me, because sometimes 2 or 3 guys will send me the same article, and so I have to just kind of pick one and try to give credit, and I'll try to give credit to multiple if I can. But today, first one thing I wanted to cover was from XRP_veteran, and he sends me a lot of stuff. You should follow him for sure. But Shapeshift, this is Shapeshift CEO Eric Voorhees, has said that the growing debt of the U.S., which hovers at around $21.7 trillion as of November, will inevitably cause a big spike in crypto. And I've gone over this a lot before, and what I've noticed is everyone from executives at Ripple to guys like this, I've noticed a shift where a lot of major players in the blockchain and digital asset industry have begun to talk about this. Now, I'm sure it's not because I've mentioned it, but for whatever reason, they have all started to talk about it, and they should talk about it, because this is going to be when your two safe havens traditionally have been treasury bonds and gold and silver, and all of a sudden you have a new place where you can store value that's inflation proof. It's a no-brainer. This is why treasury, like I've told you before, treasury bonds, when you have a debt problem which creates panic, and treasury bonds are debt, why would you go into that when you could go into gold and silver, and now you have a new asset class that's an inflation hedge? Crypto what he's saying here is exactly what will happen, and it might happen in a lot more mass than you think, or a lot more volume than people even imagine. Okay, moving along. Richard Cornfield. Now, this guy he followed me way, as I recall, he followed me way back when I first started this channel, and so I definitely think you need to follow him. He is very active in the XRP community at Richard Cornfeed. Okay, at RICHARDCORNFIED. So keep in mind, his name's Richard Cornfield, but he doesn't have the L in his handle on Twitter, so pay attention to that. But he's definitely puts out a lot of good information on XRP. Well, he sent me this, and this is pretty darn interesting. Apparently a firm created the PDX coin, which is a petrodollar coin. And I want to read to you a little bit out of this article, because you're going to see more and more of this type of thing. What they announced is that they want to implement Ripple's Xcurrent and/or XRapid with their PDX coin. So let's read to you what this is and how they think this would work. Petrodollar PDX, widely regarded as PDX coin, has announced in its white paper that it would be implementing Ripple's Xcurrent and XRapid as its technological backbones. The newly created and legally supported digital currency, backed by independently certified proved recoverable oil and gas reserves is a creation of Signal Capital Management. They're out of New York. And its sister companies PDX AG and of Zug, Switzerland, and Oilco Acquisition Holdings, Inc. of the United States. The launched PDX coin makes it easy for individuals and organizations to use transparent digital currency backed by independently certified crude oil and natural gas reserves in the ground, and either in production or ready for development, the platform has said. It says, talking about Ripple's X-Current, the white paper indicates that PDX may license and utilize Ripple's proprietary X-Current global interbank rapid messaging platform in order to effect global payments and transfers in rapid, real-time, and cheaply. In the same line, PDX may also license and utilize Ripple's proprietary X-Rapid platform that may enable PDX to more effectively be exchanged for fiat currencies cheaply and rapidly in real time. Now, what this sounds like to me is this sounds like the Interledger, and it sounds like we've talked about a lot before. You're going to have all sort. I mean, this is just one example. Whether it's a digital asset or fiat currencies around the world, everybody's going to be wanting to flow through XRP because it's the fastest. It's the fastest and the cheapest. And for that reason, they're all, in one way or another, to save money and to do things fast, they're going to be wanting to move it through XRP. And that's why this is all so exciting. It's one of the many reasons. But this is just one company that's using one digital asset that wants to utilize XRP in their flows, but this is going to be done by thousands of companies. Just think about that. Okay, moving along here. Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up this morning. This was I mentioned him yesterday. Ian Northing has been sending me all sorts of things. Follow him at IANBINS on Twitter. He's very active in the XRP community as well. He sent me this, and don't worry, I'm not going to give you an XRP price prediction. They do give their Ripple price prediction in this article, but that's not why I'm showing it to you. I'm showing this to you because they took some numbers from history. So many of you out there that just get livid when you hear a Ripple, an XRP price prediction. Don't worry, that's not what you're getting today. What you're getting is something you can't get mad at, which is history and facts. History and facts are what they are. There's nothing to argue over. And I'm going to show them to you right here. In this article, they show down here. This was from 2017. These were the best performing, and I thought they did a good graphic of this. Best performing cryptocurrencies of 2017. Look who's at the top. 36,000. Now think about that. 36,018% Ripple XRP. 36,018%. Okay. And Bitcoin, the store of value, was at 1,318%. So what would that look like if you had bought XRP on the 1st of January of 2017 and then you sold it, or you just held it on the 1st of January of 2018? What did that look like? $700, which was roughly 100,000 XRP on the 1st of January in 2017, was $360,000 in 2018. Now I want you to think about that, and I want to make a point having to do with this. All of you and oh man, the people get nasty and more negative in the comments section of my videos and all. Oh, everybody keeps talking about how it's gonna boom now and then it's gonna boom then, and it just never happens, and so it's still under $1 and they're whiny and all this. Well, guess what? I've been watching this for 2013, and guess what? If I'm not whining, none of you need to be whining, because I've watched this up and down and sat there, gone sideways for over a year at a time. I've been through this, so I don't want to hear it. Quit whining and understand what you're a part of. And I'm gonna give you a little summary once again. But first, I want to show you this. This is around what I just showed you. This here. This is what happened. And look how boring it was for all of that time. Look, it just sat there and sat there. And this time period right here, this is when all these people in the comment sections of my videos and all these people you see on Twitter telling you, oh, nobody knows, don't get too optimistic. Bull crap. That's what the digital asset investor says. Bull crap. Do get optimistic, and I'm going to tell you why. Because this is last year. This is all of this. All of these naysayers, all these people that are whining and moaning and talking about how the price hadn't done anything, and you said it would do this, and all these people, all in here, they would have been saying the same thing last year. They would have been that same negative people last year. Well, they didn't know what they were talking about last year, because those same people would have been talking the same stuff last year that they're saying now. And but here's the interesting thing. The same people that you're seeing on Twitter and the same people on YouTube and everywhere else, the same people that are telling you not to be optimistic and don't get your expectations too high, those same people, when it was here, those same people, when it was in May and in December, those same people were the ones making the price predictions. They were telling you how great things were going to be. Oh, there's no telling where this could go. Just because we're in this time period for 2018 now does not mean that I'm going to be a different person than I would be right here. And the reason I'm not is because I know what I'm invested in. And let me tell you what I know. Here's what I know. I know that the stock market it has been in a bull market for 10 years. And I know that stock markets do not, on average, the longest that a bull run lasts is for 6 years, and that's in the history of the United States. I know that it's all been created on a facade of something that's not true. They've kept interest rates artificially low. I know that they've printed money. I know that they've come up with QE 1, 2, 3, and anything else you can imagine to keep the lie going that is the Ponzi scheme, that is the countries and their debts that they've created of the world. I also know that Wall Street's coming, and that's not just a slogan. I know that the New York Stock Exchange is opening their exchange in December. I know Fidelity Digital Assets is doing it. I know that institutions behind the scenes over the counter for the last year have been investing money to get ready for what they know is coming. I know that during this time period last year, you didn't have anything that Ripple has going on right now. All you had is the promise of one day going into production. I know that XRP is live now. I know that they've added new companies onto it, and they're adding more and more and more. And I know that I see articles every day where it's more and more and more people signing on for XCurrent and then XRapid. And I know that volumes are building. I know that exchanges are adding XRP as trading pairs more and more by the day. And I know that this is a joke compared to what is about to happen in the future, because this was when it was all just a hope. And I also know that we have about 100 to 1,000 more ways for people to invest into digital assets than we had at this time. I also know that the existing on-ramps that they did have back then, those companies have added hundreds of employees to be able to handle the money that comes in this time that they didn't have at this time when the bull run started. I know that all of this is happening and going to happen. And so I'm as optimistic as I've ever been. I watched $700 become worth $360,000 last year, and I think that's a joke compared to what's coming. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that $700 at the beginning of 2017 became worth $360,000. Thanks for listening.